So spawning down here in the position, bottom position, he is BYUN. And his opponent doing the exact same thing. He is Time. The chatter has begun. Like, looks like Time got found out, BYUN got found out, so they have completely scrapped the proxy idea. Someone clip, let me just clip that real quick. So yeah, now without that proxy, both sides are going to be going for the fast double refinery, which will allow them to go up to that faster factory, get maybe 1 or 2 additional Reapers out as well. And I mean, overall, it's a very solid early game aggressive strategy. Oh, no problem, Raziel. Like that's kind of been my goal. I still want to get you guys the best players that I possibly can, but it's also good to kind of make sure that we're getting all the matches casted. So I've always tried to get a good, healthy mix. Okay, so the Reaper going to be going across for BYUN. Time keeping his at home defensively. We should be seeing with this, since we're seeing the additional Reapers, we probably be seeing that Hellion for a little bit of extra damage. BYUN, his CC is a little bit quicker, and he's actually going to get a really big delay on this second CC. He will lose his first Reaper, though, so any sort of aggression that he's going to do from here on out is going to be that much weaker. It may seem like a really small thing, but in a mirror matchup like this, the smallest thing can make the biggest difference. Now this is where we see a little bit of a variation. We see that additional Hellion and some more Reapers coming out for BYUN as Time going to be going up to potentially Ravens, Banshees, just that additional Stargate play. Really showing a bit of a difference between these two play styles, and actually I'm lying to you because it's going to be Siege Tank's Time wants to get aggressive. So the Siege Tanks, good defensively to start things off, but again, you can just be very aggressive with them, especially versus what BYUN has right here, because this delays your Siege Tanks. It delays some of your economy because you are focused quite heavily on the other side of the map, microing this. And I mean, BYUN is known for his amazing micro. But already taking a couple of pot shots there from those Siege Tank. Wants to focus down the Reapers. Those are the biggest nuisance that he can deal with. Does get a bunch of the Marines as well, so he cleans up a majority of Time's army. And that was a fantastic micro from him. Even though he does lose the Hellions, he keeps one of the Reapers alive, which will allow him to kind of scout the map out a little bit more. And I mean, Time can't push out again. Here we go, a pretty big drop coming BYUN's way. Will he have enough? He will definitely have that Siege Tank and the additional Ravens, so I think he's going to be pretty safe versus this. Those Ravens just going to be able to shut down those medevacs pretty hard, as he does have the lockdown in play. And just those auto turrets going to help out quite a bit as well. But I said it in a previous series with time. This position so hard to push into, and actually already the SCV pulled. So 3 will go down. The auto turret going to try and focus down this siege tank, but he's on a bit of a clock to clean that up, and he does get it. So only 3 workers going down. BYUN still retains his lead. He does have the 3rd base. Okay, I was worried about that. So it's a lot faster than times. Now time does have to get out of there, as those Vikings going to clean up those medevacs very simply. So where do we really go from here? You know, both players are going up to that 3 base. As kind of the explosion for the Terran economy. And we should be seeing that additional production start to fall for both sides, as well as the upgrades. So time, getting his NG base up much quicker than BYUN. So if he can get that upgrade lead early on, he's going to be in a world of good time. I was about to say a world of hurt, but why would you be hurting for upgrades? Okay. Okay, so now an important thing to note with this is BYUN does have a greater advantage in the air. It looks like his upgrades are... It looks like I did miss that he had his NG base, so his upgrade's actually a little bit quicker. But he does have that air control, which is going to be pretty important. That additional Raven is going to help him shut down the siege tanks when he does decide to push out. And it's going to be so important to keep those Ravens alive as well. But, I mean, right now it looks like both players just going to be very content to just kind of hang out, build up their armies, get that economy rolling, and not really be too aggressive. You can look at that income advantage. You can kind of tell where the mules have been dropped. That army size skyrocketing a little bit further for time, because he did throw down that additional production a little bit quicker. But I mean, it's all kind of a moot point right now, as he will have a small upgrade deficit, as BYUN already going for 2-2. Okay, so again, we kind of see that explosion, more and more production. It looks like time wants to transition into this air-based army. He's got those additional starports down. Still pumping out the Marines, however. He doesn't want to fall behind in that count. Take a look at the units tab. Currently 40-31, so he's a little bit ahead, but BYUN catching that lead pretty darn well. He's going to add in an additional starport of his own. Now, the supplies are a little bit deceiving, I feel. Although time does have that kind of bigger army upgrade, or the bigger army, I feel like those additional Ravens are going to shut down the siege line a little bit quicker. Yeah, there we go. The first Dorito dust going to be coming down. An explosion of flavor right on top of those Marines. Going to make it very hard for them to engage. And now BYUN just going to consistently rotate around. Going to get into a decent position right here in range of the siege tanks. And I mean, Time still going to get some pretty nice pot shots off. So a little bit of a miss micro there from BYUN. Time going to get a Dorito dust cannon of his own, shutting down a good majority of the, excuse me, a couple of tanks in the front there. Looks like Time is actually just going to be able to jump right on top of this army, and BYUN, his supply plummeting as Time cleans house. So not a good fight for BYUN at all, honestly. Now we do see both sides. They got the COVID reactor. So we should be seeing a bit of a transition into those Ravens pretty soon. Both sides pumping out quite a few Vikings. I'm going to be ahead in the Raven count now. But I mean, where does BYUN go from here? His big push, his kind of coup de grace, failed. He wasn't able to get the position that he needed. He couldn't lock down because he did use that Dorito cannon on, like, at a very inopportune time. No pun intended there. See, whenever a player has a name like Time or Cure or Dark or just something like a really simple word, I always feel bad saying the word because it sounds like I'm just making a pun, but it's not. Like, definitely my worst puns are the ones I don't intend to say. But Time, you know, he's being very content in just kind of staying back, fortifying this position, building up his army. He's completely supplied out. You do see him go for a little bit of a drop here, going to try and get a cancel on that command center. BYUN is in position to stop that. But no player is really ahead here. Time going to be vying for that air control as he pushes out. One of those siege tanks going to get caught. There's also one back at home, but BYUN looks to be going for a bit of a double prong here. The siege tanks do get to land, but they are all locked down. We do see BYUN on the other side try and go up there, but the siege tanks clean that up. And unfortunately for BYUN, he's just losing so much every time he attacks. Time just kind of skyrocketing ahead in terms of that. Army supply. Oh my God. This has been a pretty one-sided game. It seems like BYUN kind of just struggling to get a hold of himself here. Loses the base. He's about to lose this one as well if he's not careful. I mean, what can BYUN do? Right now, the answer is pump out a ton of Ravens and hopefully use them to kind of shut down the siege tank line that is formed at his 5th base. Not going to get it in time, though. Like the Liberator going to get some nice juicy kills and force a lot of those Marines away. BYUN has recovered that army count, but again, This is just a hard force to engage into. Plenty of Ravens with a huge amount of energy. Those siege tanks just well upgraded. And I mean, from here, looks like Yamato cannon, so we've got some Battlecruisers in the works. Unless that was a complete misplay right there. Okay, so here we go. BYUN gonna try and dive on top of this. Dorito Cannon's over everything, losing quite a few of those Ravens on both sides here. It looks like BYUN might come out slightly ahead in the air, but he's gonna lose the fight on the ground, and those Marines gonna push their way forward. The last of the Ravens fall, and now BYUN gonna lose almost everything. It's down to these last couple of siege tanks to finish things off, and I mean, they don't shoot up versus Battlecruisers. That is the lone Marine here. It's one buddy, too. I mean, BYUN consistently trying to take out this location, but having trouble doing so. Again, these siege tanks, very well upgraded, +2 attack, and that armor upgrade as well is helping out quite immensely. Current Raven count, 0. Scans are like butter right now as well. They're just being spread over everything. I mean, BYUN, he keeps remaxing. Unfortunately, at this point, he's remaxing on the wrong units. He does have a little bit of air presence here, but 3 Vikings, a Battlecruiser do not kill. And I think that was completely backwards. 3 Vikings do not kill a Battlecruiser is what I meant to say. There you go, the reinforcing Vikings are gonna help out quite a bit, but now you can just kind of teleport away from this. Gonna lose one of those Battlecruisers though. That is not the kind of trade you want to be taking. And actually BYUN over on this side gonna start picking off as much as possible before the Army of Time comes in. Taking a lot of damage on those medevacs. He needs to get out of there. 16 kills, beautiful. But is it enough? Time continues this transition into air mech. He has a quite healthy count of Marines on the ground. The siege tank's going to be able to fight this location, and the auto turrets being dropped all over. So this base is not long for this world. The SV's going to try and repair as fast as they can, but that's not going to be enough either. BYUN has made some good moves, and he's actually ahead in that income count slightly. But at the same time, he doesn't really have a hard, solid counter for these Battlecruisers just yet, as they're going to be able to just pop away as much as they can. Now he needs to clean up this location. That gas geyser is too much of a liability for him. If Time can take control of that, he can instantly replenish his gas army, which, I mean, he already can. Look at that bank that he's building up. Yeah, honestly, BYUN, I don't think he's dead just yet, but it's getting close to that point where he's really having trouble kind of doing anything. Spending a lot of energy on these auto turrets as well. He will finally clean up the siege tanks. But, I mean, that energy could be a little bit better used to take down those Battlecruisers with lockdown, with Dorito Cannon. etc., etc. Here we go. Neither side wants to fight into that acceleration zone. Time going to be the first to kind of jump on top of this. The Vikings a little bit out of position, but one of those Battlecruisers will fall instantly. Still a healthy Viking count as well. Siege tanks not going to siege up here, so Time going to get right up the ramp. And we do have the Dorito cannon going down once again. All over everything. It is an orange fiesta right now. I mean, BYUN not going to jump on top of this. Like, he's kind of waiting for the perfect time to do so. And here we go. This is his moment. If he's going to clean this up, it's going to be now. Time not able to hold on. Now his supply is the one plummeting. BYUN, though, he lost another base in that attack. And this reinforce is going to be a little bit slower because Time's economy has not been touched in a long time. It's relatively low econ right now, down below 50 for BYUN and only 53 for Time. But at this point, you really wanted to be trading out those workers anyway. You want to be transitioning into mules for your minerals, and then just have a smattering of SCVs to kind of complement that and to get gas as well. I feel like every time BYUN fights, he's just not able to remax as quickly. Now he's going to clean up this location, which is pretty nice. I don't think he'll kill that, maybe? Okay, he does. Even going to trap the siege tanks with the mules, but the Marines not able to close things out. Where has BYUN been? He's been in the military. He completed his service and came back a little bit earlier this year. Now, actually, Time is going to lose another base, but he is almost maxed out to BYUN's 169. So BYUN really relying on these two-pronged counter pressures to kind of pull Time around. Look at that. He's actually going to get another one of the bases, but the siege tanks are very, very exposed, and BYUN will lose those. Look at that. He actually saves his orbital, too. Oh, my goodness. I think Time has finally kind of started making the final winning moves. He's almost maxed out to BYUN's 122. Just looking at the supply. I'm losing my breath from this game. 1 second. Even fighting under the Dorito cannon, there's still too many Ravens, and that's the remainder of BYUN's army gone and dusted. He's going to get a few more pickoffs over here, but we should be seeing the tap out pretty soon. Too many Ravens in the sky, too many Marines on the ground, and there you have it. Time takes game number 1. And yes, I did just say that was only game number 1. A failed proxy went on to be that long. I mean, can you even call it a failed proxy? They kind of just said never mind to the proxy. But that was so back and forth. I was literally on the edge of my seat the entire time. I see where the point where you guys are talking about it with the delay, and you have no idea. Gotta say, props to BYUN as well, because he actually was playing in a show match earlier today. Where he swept his opponent 5-0, I believe it was. I think it was Creator. Let me actually see. Just watching your guys' reactions is beautiful. Looks like Kira and DRG is going pretty well as well. They're still in game number 1. It looks like Kira's going for a couple of big attacks before centrifugal hooks hits, but he has to pick up and get out of there. That's over on Wardy's channel. Yeah, Zest is just waiting. Zest is waiting for this. He's got a long time to wait. All right, time needed a couple of seconds there. That's why I'm kind of just sitting here looking at these different games going on. Yeah, this has been a fun bracket. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Shout out to Republic of Gaming for putting on such an amazing show. Getting the best players in the world. And speaking of some of the best players in the world, we got these two lovely gentlemen spawning down here in the bottom position. Unfortunately teamless, but hint, hint, you guys should check him out. He is BYUN. And his opponent up here in the top, playing for Kaidzu, he is Time. Okay, so the good news for both players is the buildings are in their own bases for once. Obviously, they were in the bases last time as well, but not by design. It was kind of on accident that that happened. But, you know, once again, they're going to be going for these bit more aggressive openings, getting that factory before their command center. And what this allows them to do is kind of get that early micro game in. I think when it comes to this early game, I can say that BYUN probably a little bit more known for his micro. But we saw in the last game, he lost that Reaper very early on, and he wasn't able to continue on. But although now, Time has to retreat with his. I don't think BYUN will get the kill, though. Maybe? No. Let's see if you're going to hide in the back. And, you know, small divergences here and there. It looks like BYUN doesn't have his starport on the way just yet. Instead, going to get that reactor and tech lab to get that cyclone very early on. So not going to go into Hellions. While on the other side, Time going to play it a little bit safer, get that Widow Mine, which is very good for the defense if it can get a good shot off. Plus also you can couple it with some Marines and go for a small drop. It won't kill the SCVs, but that's what the Marines are for. BYUN gonna suicide his Reapers in. Just looking to get what damage done he can. Only one SCV will fall. And now this gives Time a lot of map control for the time being. I do know that we do have those Cyclones on the field for BYUN, so Time not going to be able to push. But, I mean, Time a lot more mobile on the map. That's very true, Lexa Boy. He was the teamless GSL winner, and he was also teamless when he won BlizzCon back in 2016. So being teamless is not the end of the world. So all you guys looking to go pro, whether it's in StarCraft 2 or just in life, you don't always need a team. Sometimes it's better to go it on your own, because you will show people that you can do it. And that's when you start to become more marketable. This has been Life Tips with Passer. Now BYUN going to be hopping on and getting a couple more kills here, but now he does get cleaned up. The Raven going to expend some of that energy, just making sure the medevac can't even pick up. So this has been very expensive for BYUN overall. Only getting 2 workers, maybe 3. So honestly, BYUN trying a couple things. He's trying to be a little bit aggressive. Did he? He lost the Cyclones. Oh, I'm sorry for missing that. They must have gotten taken down at the front. Yeah, I'll have to look up if he had a team during BlizzCon. I think what happened was that was around the time when he was with X Team. But X Team kind of screwed him over a little bit in terms of contract and money paid out. So he left them pretty quickly. I'm not 100% sure if that was during BlizzCon, though. But anyway, looks like Time is going to hit a pretty good timing, as a good majority of BYUN's units are on the other side of the map, actually in his main base, so BYUN going to hit first. But this is just going to prompt kind of the more forward, more aggressive siege up there, as he doesn't really have too much to lose. The siege tank's not going to siege up just yet. He doesn't want to lose too much to the splash. SCV's going to be pulled for BYUN as well to help defend. There's quite a bit of energy on that Liberator, but that will get neutralized. Looks like the siege tanks do fall for the defense. BYUN can't really move too far forward there, but oh my goodness, this is such an awkward position for both sides. Overall, BYUN a little bit more favored in this, as he's only lost 9 workers, completely equal on that worker supply. but he did kill off the factory of time, and now he's going to be a little bit more aggressive with these siege tanks. Time doesn't have stim. So what this allows BYUN to do is get right on top here, but he doesn't get the right angle. Loses way too many Marines, and that is going to do it